Dear all those veterans who fought for the democracy of South Korea. My name is Dong-yeon Kim. I am a former South Korea Air Force officer and an honorary member of Korean Retired Generals and Admirals Defending the Nation, abbreviated as KORGAD, KORGAD, which was established on January 30th, 2019 as a non-profit, non-partisan, and private NGO concerned about national security of the Republic of Korea. Today, I am speaking on behalf of 850 members of Korean Retired Generals and Admirals Defending the Nation, and Korean War veterans, namely General Paik Sun Yeop. From now on, I will say the word "we" to represent the members of KORGAD, Korean Retired Generals and Admirals Defending the Nations, and veterans, including General Paik Sun Yeop. We, the retired generals and admirals, have been patiently waiting. We have been trying our best because we, the retired generals and admirals, wanted South Korea to be as democratic as the United States of America. However, currently, we are facing the tidal wave of challenges which we have never been expecting and find ourselves useless against it. Currently, we are trying our best to defeat this unprecedented challenge. Despite the tireless effort of us, a challenge we are facing gains more power and trying to subvert our nation, South Korea. Therefore, we cannot leave this challenge as only our problem. We are ashamed of ourselves. We are so shameful. We are humiliated and dishonored that we dropped our heads down. We are so disgraceful because we have no power to defeat the challenge by ourselves. Now, we have no fancy uniforms, no firepower, but old bones and bare fists. Yes, we have nothing but full of spirit, which we the veterans all share. Our invincible spirits never ages and stay with us and sustain us. Because of this spirit, we decided to plea our story to our Korean War veterans, brothers and sisters. Yes, we are currently shameful, but being shameful is better than regretting after the loss of our democratic nation, so we rather speak up to you. We cannot close our eyes with unbearable regret, so we speak up. We came across a reality that we had to send a rescue request to the Korean veterans who shed blood together in the Korean soil. Dear brothers and sisters, please listen to our shameful story of request. The current situation in South Korea is happening without our brothers and sisters' knowledge in overseas. The past Korean War was the same. 4 a.m., June 25th, 1950. It was a Sunday. Most of the South Korean soldiers at that time were on a vacation. Nobody expected North Korea's sudden attack on South Korea. That's how it all started. At the time, nobody knew what's coming. The current situation in South Korea is the same as the past. Currently, even South Korean people are unaware of their seriousness. News about South Korea is very limited in overseas. Nobody ever delivers the story from the deep inside of South Korea. Currently, Korean War veterans of the world are proud of themselves. So are we. We proud ourselves and we made a regretless choice. However, our blood and sweat spread in this Korean soil may turn out to be nothing. We only fought for this country's democracy, but that meaning may be faded in the future because of the current challenge we face today. Please pay attention to our story. South Korea has been the democratic country for the last 66 years after the war, but the journey was rough. We have faced multiple crises and challenges. Sometimes we had many twists and turns in our history. Also, there were small and large provocations of North Korea. After all, it was all necessary steps for the mature democracy for South Korea. While we are building stronger democracy in South Korea, North Korea could not stand with it. North Korea exploited all possible ways and means to interrupt the establishment of democracy in South Korea. January 21st, 1969, North Korea sent special forces to assassinate South Korean President Park Chung-hee. The attempted assassination failed, but North Korea did not stop there. In 1983, another assassination attempt happened in Rangoon, Burma. North Korea killed 21 presidential cabinet members with a timed bomb. Luckily, our President Chun Do-hwan survived. North Korea tried to disrupt the first Summer Olympics in South Korea. In 1987, North Korea sent a covert agent to explode Korean airline in mid-air, killed all passengers. In 2010, North Korea mortar shelled Yeonpyeong-do, also known as YP-do. In the same year, North Korea torpedo attacked South Korean naval ship Cheonan, killed 46 sailors. In recent years, North Korea developed a new strategy of provocation and expanded their field of the attack on the cyber domain. North Korea cyber attacked South Korea financial and military networks. North Korea steals critical information from South Korea. Such attack not only aimed South Korea but also our alliance, the United States. In 2014, North Korea cyber attacked the US-based Sony Pictures Entertainment. In 2017, North Korea spread the global-scale cyber attack with WannaCry ransomware, which damaged 230,000 computers in 150 countries. In 2013, we caught North Korea spying in South Korea, which led by the former South Korean congressman. The spying linked to multiple spies within South Korean society, and they planned to subvert South Korea. The most recent event happened on June 25th of this year, 2019. It was 69th anniversary of the Korean War. Anti-American activists rushed into the US Embassy in Seoul, South Korea with a vehicle. A vehicle carried a full of explosive gas containers. This may sound like the IED attacks on the US base in the Middle East, but this happened in this country, South Korea. Additionally, Seoul City Mayor mobilized the government contractors and police forces to demolish the South Korea Republicans' anti-North Korea rally site in Seoul. Government contractors violently oppressed innocent citizens. This is not the story from Hong Kong, but South Korea in recent weeks. In 2018, April 27th, Inter-Korea Summit happened in Panmunjom, Korea. We the veterans have eyewitnessed the moment when two Korea's leaders hugged together. We all thought Korean unification will come soon before we die. But about a week after Inter-Korea Summit, May 3rd, midnight, in the middle of international water, South Korean tanker Jae-in stays along with the North Korean tanker Namsan 8. This North Korean tanker has subjected to sanction by the US Treasury and the United Nations. This is the first incident of South Korean vessels suspicious ship-to-ship transfer of oil to North Korea. Until now, South Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs remains silent from the inquiries of the international community about this ship-to-ship transfer of oil to North Korea. Recently, 4 of North Korea escapees came down to South Korea via sea, but South Korea government sent 2 of 4 escapees back to North Korea within a week. And South Korea's only intelligence service, National Intelligence Service, destructed escapees' boat. Therefore, the U.S. intelligence counterpart lost its chance to investigate the incident. What am I telling you now is very few stories of what's happening in South Korea. Current president of South Korea is a former human rights attorney, but the Western media do not know the fact that he has a long record of anti-America and anti-government activism. When South Korean president elected, the U.S. media phrased and described him as a great negotiator. He led the anti-America and pro-North Korea movement in 1980, and most of his fellow comrades are the current cabinets of the president. Namely, Im Jong-seok, a chief of staff of South Korean presidential office, was the leader of South Korea College Union. He sent his fellow student Im Soo-kyung to Pyongyang and later participates the North Korea's Comintern Communist International event. She even met with Kim Il-sung, the first leader of North Korea. Im Jong-seok was the North Korea's liaison officer to Seoul that he disseminated instructions to other comrades in South Korea. This story of South Korea resembles the 1970s New Left movement in the US. In 1960s and 70s in the United States, there were multiple subversive groups, fifth columns, Students for Democratic Society, Weather Underground Organization. These groups systematically promoted the anti-Vietnam War movement and interrupted democracy in the US. Based on CIA investigation, many of them linked to foreign government, namely communist countries Soviet Union and DPRK, orchestrated these groups in the background. Now, South Korean president who has a long record of subversion and his fellow comrades are in charge of South Korea. Can you imagine if the US president was a former member of Weather Underground Organization? This unimaginable situation is the current situation in South Korea. A former human rights attorney, Moon Jae-in, remains silent for the human rights abuses of North Korea. Also, he ordered the South Korean delegation to the United Nations to abstain the resolution for North Korean human rights. This story revealed by the former Minister of Foreign Affairs of South Korea, Song Min-sun. Also, North Korea has tortured innocent American student Otto Warmbier and still not apologizes about the Otto's death. North Korea denied their guilt. The current president of South Korea did not participate in the event to commemorate fallen naval warriors of Cheonan naval ship for 2 consecutive years. The current president of South Korea did not participate in the event to commemorate Korean War veterans for 3 consecutive years. April 27, 2018, after Inter-Korea Summit, South Korea President announced Panmunjom Declaration. Also September 19th of the same year, 2 Koreas signed the military agreement. Both sides agreed the documents delivered into 2 languages, Korean and English. However, English version contained multiple disguised wordings. The US media do not know this fact. In the Korean version, both Korea used the word Minjok. In the Korean version of declaration, this word Minjok appeared 10 times. This is North Korea-driven language which contains the embedded purpose of unification under communism. In English version, 2 Koreas use the term blood relations for the word Minjok. This is not the direct translation but vague description. Minjok actually means the homogeneous ethnicity or ethnic superiority. Such term was used by the Nazi Germany under Hitler. Minjok literally means our Korean ethnic superiority. The reason why North Korea wants to emphasize homogeneous ethnicity is because North Korea wants to withdraw the US forces out of the Korean peninsula. And this strategy has been the core concept of North Korea, which sustained for 3 successions of North Korea. Despite the fact of this concern, nobody pointed out the problem. September 19th Inter-Korea Military Agreement shows that South Korea allowed all North Korea's military strategy. Representatively, South Korea destroyed the guard post at the DMZ between 2 Koreas and put a white cloth on all the Army's front artilleries and naval guns on warships as a symbol of peace, while North Korea did not do anything. Also, 2 Koreas agreed to extend no-fly zone up to 40 kilometers towards South Korea. Based on this new agreement, South Korea's ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance assets are no longer able to watch North Korea effectively. South Korea Air Force ISR assets cannot deliver the mission properly. At that time, the Korean Ministry of Defense was proudly said there will be no problem with the warning capability and systems. However, on May 4th and 9th of this year, South Korea failed to detect North Korea's short-range tactical missiles. It was a surprising launch by North Korea. South Korea Defense Ministry detected the missiles only 1 minute before the launch. This is an obvious warning failure. Recently, June 15th, South Korea Navy did not know until a ship carrying 4 North Korean defectors docked at South Korean port. This is the current state of South Korea military combat readiness. We, the South Korea generals and veterans, bring up the military problem with North Korea countless times to South Korean government. November 21st, 2018, General Paik Sun Yeop led our veterans and officially invited South Korean government chief members, including former and current Secretary of Defense and security chiefs. Especially, we invited the former Secretary of Defense, Song Young-moo, who signed the Inter-Korea military agreement, but not a single member responded to our official invitation, and no one showed up to our interpellation event. South Korea government has not yet to respond to our question about this unfair Inter-Korea military agreement. It's been nearly 1 year, but we are not yet to hear their answer. Currently, South Korea's leading party, which is President Moon's party, enacted a new law to suspend the national security law of South Korea. National security law of South Korea is the only legal base to catch spy, but this law will gradually fade away its power. South Korea's only intelligence agency, National Intelligence Service, also known as NIS, is no longer collecting intelligence about its number 1 threat, North Korea. Since January of 2018, Moon Jae-in administration ordered NIS, National Intelligence Service, to transfer its North Korea division to police. South Korea police has no ISR capability against North Korea and has no system to share its intelligence with the US intelligence community. President Moon also planned to change the name of NIS, National Intelligence Service, to International Security Intelligence Services, which is known as ISS. Not only degrade the capability of NIS, but also dysfunction South Korea Defense Security Command. Defense Security Command is Korea's military intelligence agency. A year ago, South Korea Prosecutor's Office summoned former Commander Lee Jae-soo for the allegation of political involvement, but such claim had no legitimate proof. During the inhumane investigation, Commander of Defense Security Command Lee Jae-soo committed suicide to prove his justice. In his suicide note, he condemned the unfair judgment of current administration, and he left a memo that his innocent subordinates were not involved with the allegation. Now, Defense Security Command also gets rid of its function to collect information about North Korea. The current administration is considering putting the photo of a former chief of intelligence, Kim Jae-gyu, who assassinated the President Park Chung-hee. After he killed the former president of South Korea, he said at the court, "It was a revolution." This current government of South Korea tried to commemorate the assassin who was known to anti-democracy. Recently, South Korean government planned to commemorate Korean War with North Korea for next year. Korean War is not a finished war, but we are in the armistice. North Korea still called them as the victor of the Korean War. They teach their people South Korea and the US attacked North Korea first. But South Korea government of today tried to open the inter-Korea event to commemorate the Korean War with the enemy, North Korea. This ridiculous situation is currently happening in South Korea, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. South Korea is in danger. We the veterans came across the consensual judgment that the current situation in Korea is just as the same as the Korean War. Our situation now is the dawn of the D-Day of the Korean War. A flower of democracy in South Korea is about to go down. We cannot cover everything happening in Korea in this short video. We have now decided that there is no other way but appeal to veterans around the world. Now, the South Korean government is going to accept the system of North Korea. If the South Korea becomes a communist country, the blood and sweat that we shed in this country together will be wasted. We have to fight back together to defend the democracy of South Korea. Now, we are sleeping every night with nightmares and wake up in the middle of the night because of fear. North Korea never changes. Communist never changes. North Korea, while in the talks with the United States, reactivated a nuclear facility and fired many missiles. It is a naive delusion that North Korea expects to change. We have been talking to North Korea for centuries, but the six-party talks also failed, and the end of every negotiation has returned to a stronger North Korea. North Korea Kim Jong-un never gives up his luxury. Before we expect them to change, we have to change first. We have to fight. We have to unite. We have fought for the democracy of South Korea that our children will enjoy. We will continue to fight even after our death. We have to fight because we need to glorify the cause of our fathers who fought before us. Tell veterans around the world, our brothers and sisters, we need your help. Publicize the crisis in Korea and mobilize all available means and methods. This is a great opportunity for us to reunite after 69 years. Let's meet again for the proud South Korean democracy. Let's unite again for a beautiful future. If you want to help us, please contact us. The bottom of this screen, there is an email address you can contact us. The email address is vofgeneral, GENERAL, @gmail.com. You can contact us through that email. Thank you for listening to our long plea of crisis. We sincerely thank all veterans of the world. Again, This is our request of support, and I am representing 850 retired veterans in South Korea, including General Paik Sun Yeop. Thank you.